Next up is Jasmine Russell. In addition to her experience in data analytics, Jasmine Russell also works with Minneapolis community groups to facilitate women empowerment, diversity development, collaborative student learning, technology development, and community speaker concept development. She is also the founder of theproceed.com. Please welcome Jasmine Russell.
So my name is Jasmine Russell. I am a market research and digital analyst, meaning, yes, I do surveys for a living, but I'm also the person that behind the scenes knows everything you do online. So be very nice to me. So there are a few things I consider myself to be as an analyst. One of those is a consultant. You come to me, you present me with a question of what you want to analyze, and we sit down, we talk about it. Where do you actually want to go with this data? What's the hypothesis? I also consider myself to be a pretty strategic person. We've gone through the hypothesis, but what historical data do we have? How can we actually get into the problem at hand now that we have the hypothesis? And finally, I consider myself to definitely be a person that loves numbers. Not everybody loves numbers, but I love numbers. So you come to me, we figure it out, and we go through it. But with all this, there are a few things that really aren't in my job description that I do as an analyst, such as being a mediator. There are a lot of heated discussions out there in the world of analytics, and I find myself needing to mediate the room and what's actually happening. I also find myself to be a counselor. Again, very heated discussions that are happening, but how do we actually work through this? It's not about you right now, it's about the data that we're actually going through. And then finally, for my own personal sanity, I figure out that I need to be a comedian for people. And this, again, so many heated discussions, sometimes you just need a little bit of comedic relief to actually get through it. So with all these things, the pros of what you expect as an analyst and things you don't expect as an analyst, I asked myself, what is the purpose of true data reporting? There are a lot of people that think they have the idea of what it is, including myself, but do we really know what that is? Let's think about it for a second. Is it developing an actionable conclusion from the data? Is it going through some much needed data visualizations and impressing people with how many charts and tables you can do? Is it looking at predictive models and improving the conversations that you have? Or is it something simple as finding how many Pikachu are in Minneapolis and analyzing that so you can catch the most? But with that, there's a few that stick out over time. And the first one that really jumps out to me, I call it a data haunting, and it's recreating data reports. Every analyst has been there, you get a report, you think that you know everything there is to know about it, but you've never seen it before, and you end up getting the task of recreating the entire thing. It sounds bad, but in reality, sometimes actually going through that report can be better for you because you ended up doing something quicker, faster, and more efficient the second time around. The next data woe that I have an issue with is actually being honest with data. How honest can you be when you're delivering a data report? To me, to analyze these results without... Sorry, I have to keep going. So the main question is, are you a data analyst chicken? Are you chickening out on actually being honest with your data? Or are you being upfront with what you're giving in your conclusions? The next data woe that I have is flat data. A lot of people see flat data, they freak out, it's flat, there's nothing that's in it, I can't make a story or conclusion out of it. But flat data can actually be really beneficial because flat data can show that you are steady. It can show that there's a need for more creativity in what you're actually doing and putting out. And it also shows retention in what you're doing. So there's great product concepts and seeing flat data rather than seeing it as something that has no variability that you can actually analyze. The next woe I have is giving a report that is acceptable. We've all been there. There's a report, it makes sense to you, but you get in the meeting and they say, I don't understand any of these charts that you're giving out. Take a step back after really receiving this comment and get out your feelings a little bit and say, am I stacking too many variables in this? Am I too concentrated or not enough concentrated on the objective at hand? And am I just creating this chart for my ego? Really think about it. And finally, the images that we analyze, think about these. When you're putting them within market research or putting them into any type of strategy, really think about where you're going with the data, because the more they see it, the more they have opportunities to actually analyze it. My last thought, all of my thought leaders that have taught me data up until this point have been very strategic and very critical. So take that opportunity to really go there with the data and be critical, but at the same time, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Thank you.